How much does it cost to create and maintain an exotic garden in a year? Well, in this year, we're going to find out exactly how much I spend on my garden, including every single thing to keep the garden looking at its best throughout the year. So lots of people have asked me how much have I spent on my garden, how much does it cost to create an exotic garden, how much do you spend every year? Well, I've never really kept a track of how much it's cost, but this year in 2024, I'm going to detail every single expenditure I do or make for this garden. So down to the penny, I will record everything I spend on the garden. So what does that actually mean? But that includes every single penny that is spent outside in my garden. So that's every seed I buy, all the compost, all the plants, all the paving materials, all the protection materials for winter, any single thing I spend on my garden. So basically everything down to the last penny will be recorded. I'll keep all my receipts, keep all my invoices, and then I will say at the end of the year the full total. But before we get to the end of the year, because we're only in February as I record this first video in this series, I'm going to say how much I've spent so far this year. And that's pretty easy to do, because in January I spent absolutely nothing, not a single penny at all. But now we've moved into February, starting to think about growing new plants from seed. I have made my first purchase of the year, and that was on seeds. I spent some money for seeds that will grow for flowers mainly, and some foliage plants for the garden, for the exotic part of the garden. And the full cost of this is £47.80. So that does sound quite a lot, but I bought quite a lot of seeds, and I'll be sharing what I bought in a separate upcoming video. So that's the first purchase of the year. I think that's pretty good so far. We've gone over a month and a half without spending anything before that first purchase, and that is going to make me lots of plants for the garden. It's going to fill lots of areas where I have annual plantings between my hardy plants. It's going to get lots of colour into the garden, and literally if I kept every single seed, I'm sure I could grow hundreds if not thousands of plants from those seed purchases. But obviously you don't just need seeds to grow plants, you need containers, you need heat, and you also need a media to grow them in, either compost or soil or something like that. So I'm going to have to buy those things as well. So those will be added to the total and totted up at the end of the year. So before we get to the link in this corner, because this will be the video I make at the end of the year with the final total, I want you to have a guess about how much I'm going to spend in the garden this year. Will it be less than £300? Will it be £500, £1,000 or more? So put that in the comments below, and we'll see at the end of the year how close we are to that. And this year, just to give you a bit of an idea, because I don't know the final result yet, obviously, but it is going to be pretty much a budget year. There's going to be no big expenses. There's going to be no new jungle huts built. There's going to be no ponds built or any structures in the garden. There's going to be no big heavy landscaping projects, but I will obviously be doing lots of plants from seeds. There'll be the odd purchase of bigger plants as well, I'm sure, and maintaining the garden, mulching and prepping and things like that. So have a guess now, and we'll see who's the closest at the end of the year.